Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters, where I live stream every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, here on the Animal Behavior Center's Facebook page and YouTube channel. For those that may be new, my name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We are an international educational center where we teach and help people all over the world how to understand and modify behavior with animals, no matter what the species, through the science of behavior known as applied behavior analysis and positive reinforcement. We do that through our services, which you can find on our website. We have virtual services and in-person services, memberships. We also have, hey, good morning, Jen, upcoming events. We have some workshops coming up, so be prepared. We have people booking with a day with the trainer. I've got somebody coming in next week. Good morning, Sheila. And you can also take a look at our blog. Our last post was extremely popular. You can find out more on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. And as always, you can always contact me via email at Lara, Lara, at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. I do have a co host sitting here next to me. It is Noodle. I have decided to bring him back to work with me. We're going to give this a go again for a couple different reasons. So before we get started today, I'm going to be taking, hey, good morning, Stephanie. Um, Jen, I'm looking forward to having you here for a day with the trainer too. I know you're really interested in working with the alligators. I'm telling you, they're moving. They're moving. Today is going to be 97 degrees, high humidity, our hottest day of the year. And as soon as this live stream is over, we are outside welding, and I'm also going to learn to weld our gator pond. Hopefully, they're in it today. So, anyways, back to Coffee with the Critters. If you have animal behavior training or enrichment questions, feel free to post them now. I do have a couple of people that emailed me last night with their questions, and if I don't hear from you, I'm going to try to address theirs anyways. But just a couple of things we're working on in our advanced level membership. We are showing how we are crate training the Timberwolves, Jenks, and Naomi. And you always hear me say, identify your animal's positive reinforcers. Start making that list. I never ask a behavior without already having in mind what reinforcer I'm going to use if that animal gives me that behavior. Because I know that if I can deliver the reinforcer for the behavior, the future rate of that behavior will likely maintain or increase. Um, and I went in with a couple different um, reinforcers. We have found a new one, which in positive reinforcers are always changing and they're not always food. So we're always trying to build that list. We're trying to get the wolves used to change, and we are through training. But one of our reinforcers we have found is mashed potato and turkey gravy baby food. Naomi goes nuts for it. And that's what I like to see. So what does go nuts for mean? Means like really anticipating and eagerly taking the reinforcer. But they both went in this crate, and I took a snapshot from the live stream. For what? The reinforcer of each one was different. For Jenks, it was belly rubs. For Naomi, it was Jenks. So when I'm working with two or more animals, if they find comfort in being with each other, I will use that as a lure and a reinforcer. Well, more so as a lure. Because in order to use it as a companionship, as a reinforcer, means I have to separate them. And if I'm working with a bonded pair, I don't want to do that, at least not in the shaping in the beginning stages. I will, when I'm working with animals that are bonded, I will work to increase their level of calm and make sure they are calm while separated, because there's going to come a time where they have to be separated. And a lot of times it's when one of the animals is sick. And if they're stressed being separated, I don't want to incorporate that stress while they're already sick. So I train for it. And training is teaching, teaching is learning. And I am learning from the animal is learning from me. We're working as a team and we're learning together. So that's one thing we're working on right now in the advanced level membership in the Parrot Project. We're getting ready to get started with voluntary medication training with our parrots. That starts with a group live stream this coming Tuesday night. So if you're in the Parrot Project, pay attention. Something else, I'm working on a lot of stuff. I'm working a lot with the lemurs right now. I'm working a lot with the gators right now for numerous different reasons. I'm target training, recall training, because we're getting ready to shift all three of our gators. And I don't want to have to use force. Will I use force? Yes, when the alternative is worse, and that's usually an accident getting ready to happen. But if I use force, I say, this needs training. Do not do this again. So you've seen how this is Elvis. You've seen how we've been target training Bruce to transition to outside so I don't have to capture him. Not that he won't bounce back quickly from that, because he would. I just don't want to do it if I don't have to. Um, I don't want that kind of stress for the animal. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the questions that showed up in my email, and in my direct messages. And each one has to do with aggression. And I want to address aggression no matter what the species. And I talk about this a lot. What does aggression look like? Is it an open mouth from a dog? Is it a growl from a dog? If a dog growls at me, I'm going to pay attention when it growls at me, because I don't want to see what happens next. If a bird opens its beak towards me, I'm not going to move any further because I don't want to see what happens next. I was just talking about this, but before I do, a lot of times aggression means, in the form of biting, whatever, growling, whatever, charging you, often means the animal is not comfortable. And a lot of us are not comfortable with what we're not familiar with. So what I will do is work with the animal, and in the beginning be as predictable as possible, and deliver reinforcement for whatever that is, means closed mouth, closed beak, standing there versus lunging, hair not coming up on the back of the neck, feathers not coming out from the side of the neck. Um, I will reinforce any type of calm behaviors. And I will also, if I'm working with fear, I will back away from the animal. So um, I will show it that I will give you space. I understand what you're saying. Let's move. Now what? And a lot of times when I'm working with a fearful animal, I'm lucky if I can use food. That's why I say build your list of reinforcers. And almost every fearful animal I've worked with, I can't think of one that has not eventually found, through the training and the interaction I do with the animal, that the opportunity to be with me, near me, engaging with me soon becomes the positive reinforcer. And that's through classical conditioning, conditioned reinforcers, where I'm constantly pairing myself with the animal's positive reinforcer. What I was going to say, I'm already looking, I'm 10 minutes in this. There's no way I can do tidbits in 10 minutes. I'm trying, guys. Um, what I was going to say, I worked with a couple that had a very fearful dog that they adopted from a local shelter. and I was asking what the fear looked like. I didn't have the animal in front of me because if it was showing this much fear at home, I did not want it to bring into the center. That's why a lot of times with my consultations, I don't even need to see your animal, nor do I want to see it in the very big, nor do I want to bring it in a very unfamiliar situation, because it's likely not going to act like it does in your household. But these people told me this dog was very fearful. So I asked, what? I don't work with dogs anymore. I will work with dog trainers. Um, what does that behavior look like? And it was the husband, the dog was backed into a corner, and I said, whatever you do not back this dog into a corner, because I do not want to see what happens next. Um, this is a very fearful, somewhat unsocialized dog, that, and a lot of times, fear means the animal doesn't have enough information to be comfortable. And we're that same way. So give them information. Give them information through shaping um, different behaviors. Um, the next time they came in, the guy had stitches all down his nose. And I was like, what happened? And the wife said, well, the dog was still very fearful. And my husband said the dog needs to do this if it's going to live in our home. And he did back the dog into a corner. And the dog bit his face. And he had stitches, and the dog was euthanized. So that's why I say when we know better, we do better. And I am here to help you and give you information. And if I can't give it to you, I'm going to find somebody that I trust and that will help you. Another one was somebody had mentioned um, their animal is doing a lot of excessive behaviors, and I had asked, what else does the animal have to do? There wasn't a lot of enrichment, and it was. From what I had gathered through the quick emails back and forth, there wasn't adequate enrichment. And what does adequate mean? It depends on the individual. I observe the individual first. Um, we are always focused on enrichment. Enrichment is part of every single one of our behavior modification plans, because animals learn through enrichment. They'll learn manipulation. They'll learn, and we don't even have to be there. They'll learn antecedents and consequences to their behavior. Um, we like to get animals foraging for their food. They need to eat on a daily basis. Why not shape the behavior of them searching for their food? Because studies show if we're actually using positive reinforcement training, it's the animal's preferred form of enrichment. I know that for a fact, and that's how I started in the field of animal training, was through enrichment. And if we are training that animal, that bond can become very strong between myself and the animal. And um, if I'm working with separation anxiety, that's really strengthening the bond when I'm trying to get the animal to be used to being comfortable on its own. If the animal is fearful and would rather be on its own, I'm going to provide enrichment to give them something else to do and learn from in between our training sessions. Our training sessions don't have to be long. I care for 23 different animals under my direct care. I am constantly moving, training. I have a full enrichment team here that is constantly focusing on building enrichment on the individual animal. So when I'm not training, different forms of enrichment are going in with that animal. Lindsay Douglas just made some pretty cool enrichment for the lemurs yesterday. Um, and then at the same time, I'm going to get somebody else training an animal alongside with me. And if you don't think you're training, you are. whether you realize it or not. If that animal can see, hear, smell, or feel you, you are training that animal. The key question is, what are you training it to do? So, with that being said, we just had our last live drop in class for the month of June. And that was this past Thursday night. And it was on the four main factors of reinforcer effectiveness. Our live drop in classes are the first Tuesday and the third Thursday at 7 p.m. of every month. The first one was on training a foot target to a parrot. I am getting ready to schedule the ones for July. I am also going to add in another one, which is at a different time of the day. So this way, if you have a particular topic, just one topic you want to learn more about, I'm going to help you. You also have, we also have our annual memberships. Please feel free to take a look at our Same I Can Foundation. If you are interested in events and if you've ever wanted to see a lot of the animals that I work with, you are going to want to pay very close attention to the Sam I Can website and our Facebook page. It's the samicanfoundation.org. And with that, I want to say thank you. You guys have a great weekend. I'm getting ready to go learn how to weld in 97-degree heat. Wish me luck. All right, take care, everybody. I will see you next Sunday on Coffee with the Critters.